Before you left the house today, did you check something twice? Maybe knock on wood. Avoid a certain number. Cross your fingers before something important. You probably know it's irrational, but you did it anyway. Here's what scientists have discovered. That wasn't weakness. That was your brain doing exactly what it was built to do. Superstitions aren't primitive. They're a window into the deepest architecture of the human mind. A superstition is a belief that one event causes another, with no logical mechanism connecting them. Black cats, broken mirrors. The number 13. Most people dismiss these as folklore. But here's what the data shows. Superstitions exist in every culture, every continent, every era of recorded human history. That kind of universality doesn't happen by accident. It means something deep in our biology is generating this behavior over and over again. The question isn't why some people are superstitious. The question is, why is every human brain wired to be? To understand superstition, you have to go back roughly 200,000 years. Early humans lived in a world full of invisible threats, predators, poison, disease. Their brains developed a life-saving shortcut. When in doubt, assume a connection. Hear a rustling in the bushes? Assume predator. You might be wrong 99 times, but the one time you're right, you survive. Scientists call this patternicity, the tendency to find meaningful patterns in meaningless noise. Our ancestors who were better at seeing false patterns survived. The ones who weren't, didn't. Superstition isn't a malfunction. It's the direct inheritance of a survival instinct that kept your ancestors alive. Now here's where it gets fascinating. For centuries, we've dismissed rituals as mere superstition, irrational behaviors with no real-world impact. But modern neuroscience is pulling back the curtain, revealing a powerful biological mechanism at play. When researchers at Harvard University studied the effect of rituals on performance, they designed an experiment to isolate their power. They had participants perform tasks that required focus and precision. But before they began, some were asked to perform a specific, arbitrary sequence of actions. The results were startling. Performing a ritual, even a meaningless one with no logical connection to the task, actually improved performance significantly. This wasn't magic. The ritual did nothing to alter the external world or the difficulty of the task. The change happened entirely inside the brain. The ritual was a tool for self-regulation. First, rituals reduce cortisol, the stress hormone. By creating a predictable sequence in an unpredictable environment, they lower anxiety and quiet the noise of self-doubt. With stress managed, they activate the prefrontal cortex, the brain's command center for focus and decision-making. This brings a sense of clarity and control. And finally, they trigger a release of dopamine, the reward chemical. This creates a positive feedback loop, making you feel good and reinforcing the behavior. In other words, your pre-game routine, your lucky pen, your specific playlist, these aren't distractions or silly habits. They're a form of self-administered neurochemistry, a way to consciously hijack your own brain for peak performance. Michael Jordan famously wore his University of North Carolina shorts under his Bulls uniform for every game, a tangible link to his roots and early success. Rafael Nadal has a meticulous 19-step ritual before every serve, from arranging his water bottles to the precise tug of his shorts. Serena Williams bounces the ball exactly 5 times before her first serve and 2 before her second, creating a rhythm that centers her focus. These aren't quirks of eccentric athletes. These are deliberately engineered psychological states, a secret weapon hidden in plain sight. At the heart of most superstitions, from the most ancient beliefs to the ones we secretly harbor today, is one primal, unifying fear: randomness. The unsettling idea that the universe is not a story with a clear plot, but a chaotic series of events with no author. Humans are uniquely, profoundly terrified by the idea that outcomes are beyond their control. This isn't just a feeling. It's a deep-seated biological reaction. Neuroscientists have found that profound uncertainty activates the anterior cingulate cortex and the insula, the very same brain regions that fire up when we experience physical pain. To your brain, not knowing is a genuine form of suffering. So the mind searches, relentlessly, for something, anything, to hold on to. It scrambles to create an illusion of influence, a sense of agency in the face of the void. A lucky charm, a pre-game ritual, a perceived pattern in the numbers. These aren't just quirks. They are desperate attempts to impose order on chaos. Psychologist B.F. Skinner demonstrated this powerful impulse in a famous and rather telling experiment from the 1940s. He placed hungry pigeons in a box and gave them food at completely random intervals, with no connection to their actions whatsoever. Within days, the pigeons developed elaborate, repetitive behaviors. One would turn counterclockwise, another would thrust its head into a corner of the cage. They had connected their random movements to the arrival of food. They believed their personal rituals caused the reward to appear. In essence, they were superstitious. And when you're anxiously waiting for a medical result, a crucial job offer, or the final outcome of a game, you're not so different from those pigeons, are you? Your mind is doing the exact same thing. Your brain will find a cause. It will link the lucky shirt you wore to the win or the specific route you took to the successful interview. Because the existence of no cause at all is the one thing it simply cannot and will not accept. For most people, superstition is harmless, even helpful. But there's a threshold. When the belief in ritual replaces rational action, the consequences become real. In parts of sub-Saharan Africa, belief in protective rituals has delayed treatment for curable diseases. In Japan, the number 4, which sounds like the word for death, is systematically avoided. Studies show Japanese hospitals report statistically fewer cardiac deaths on the 4th day of the month. Not because hearts know the calendar, but because stress and anticipation, driven by superstitious fear, are powerful enough to influence physiology. The mind doesn't just believe superstitions. In measurable physiological ways, it enacts them. Superstitions also serve a social function that science is only beginning to map. Shared rituals create group cohesion. When an entire locker room performs the same pre-game gesture, they stop being individuals and become a unit. Neuroscientists call this behavioral synchrony, and it measurably increases trust, cooperation, and collective performance. Societies use superstition as social architecture. Taboos reduce dangerous behavior. Rituals mark transitions: birth, death, marriage. Shared omens create shared identity. In this light, superstition isn't just personal psychology. It's the operating system of culture itself. So, after journeying through history, psychology, and neuroscience, we arrive at a new, more profound understanding. Forget the simple dismissals and the easy ridicule. Here is what the science actually tells us. Superstition is not stupidity. It's not a glitch in our mental software or a relic of a less enlightened age we should have outgrown. It is our brain's powerful pattern recognition engine, working overtime in a world too complex for absolute certainty. It's the mind drawing lines, connecting dots, trying to find a signal in the noise. It is ritual as a powerful form of neurochemical regulation, the simple, repeatable act that quiets the amygdala's alarm bells and brings the prefrontal cortex back online, allowing for focus and calm. It is a mechanism for reclaiming a sense of control in the face of chaos. When the world feels random and unpredictable, belief provides an anchor, a rudder in the storm. And it is connection, the invisible architecture of shared belief that binds families, teams, and entire cultures together. So the next time you hesitate at a ladder or feel that unnameable electric tension before a big moment, understand that you're not being irrational. You're not failing a logic test. You're accessing a deeply embedded operating system that is hundreds of thousands of years old, a survival toolkit honed by evolution itself. When we look at it this way, the real question isn't whether superstitions are objectively true. That's a category error. The far more interesting question is why the most sophisticated, analytical organism in the known universe not only developed these beliefs, but still needs them to function at its peak. This is the territory we explore. If you want to go deeper into the hidden forces, the cognitive biases, and the evolutionary pressures that shape human thought, culture, and civilization, subscribe to Neptune Vault. We are dedicated to uncovering the patterns that govern our world. The answers are rarely where you expect to find them. Subscribe for more explorations into the vast mysteries of space.